I'm Jenny Lee, and my character's called Registrar. I played the Registrar. I called her Mrs. Wilson, but I don't think that mattered to anybody because she's on the cast list as Registrar. I knew the casting director, Corinne Rodriguez. I'd done several comedies around that time, On the Up and Hot Metal, and various bits and pieces, as I describe it, and a series called Hope It Rains, which was actually for LWT. So I think it was possibly because of that, but also Corinne knew that I was running a theatre company. And she said to me when I saw her, she said, "Oh, this will lead you into powerful roles," she said, that are responsible because of becoming much more kind of like a responsible person, you know, having to run something as opposed to an actor. So anyway, she invited me along to see John Reardon, the director, who's a very experienced director, actually, John. And that was it. They cut it down to the actual ceremony. They cut it right down to the bone, simply saying, "Will you take?" You only had it, "And will you take so and so and so and so to be your loved, you know, your beloved wife?" What was it? Glenn. It was George something something. Take Kelly something something to be your, and that was kind of it. The main purpose of the whole scene was the delight of everybody in seeing these two getting married and the kind of reactions all round them, rather than me. I was simply there to deliver a service, really. And that was fine. It was fine. I didn't mind that at all. It was great. But the buzz, it was a lovely buzz, the way you get a real buzz when you have whether it's the registrar in the church, a real buzz, because somebody's getting married. So yeah, that was it. But they cut me down. I think I had a bit more, but they made sure it didn't take too much time because everything else was about the others. The main cast members were Glenn Murphy and Vanessa, got her second name, who were playing George and Kelly, who were getting married. And then the best man was, I can't remember his name, to be honest. I did watch it through. I thought it was a very good scene. But because I only met them on that occasion, I don't really remember them properly. They were all very nice to me. And I think I've got an awful twinkle in the I think because it was so, the whole thing had got a lovely feel to it, the scene, that I think I've got a twinkle in my eye that I probably shouldn't have in it, because it was quite, they were quite jokey about it all. Big lot of people in the room, of course. No, I was just there for my scene. It was quite a long scene, and I think it took, well, it certainly took the morning, considering it was quite short from my point of view, but it was a lot of people organization, and it cut to a lot of different duologues. So like a mother and dad and various, and everyone's reactions, as it would do. So I think we rehearsed it, and then it would take some time for them to set up the cameras, and then we did it. It wasn't, then the cameras were much less malleable as they are now. You know, the big camera. I think we probably shot on 4 cameras, I don't know, but it's certainly because they were static in those days, apart from tracks and things, you know, you couldn't do handheld where you would today. So yeah, I had great fun doing it. And I really liked the series. I'd been watching it, so I really enjoyed it. And it was well written, beautifully written. But Jack Rosenthal, who created, I think he wrote the film first, didn't he? I mean, he was a smashing writer, Jack, and he was such a human writer. I follow. I think he wrote the Bar Mitzvah Boy. I think that was one of his. And he was married to Maureen Lipman, and I always liked his work. And I think if the writers were true to him, then that provides the human stories that they've written and the wit, because he was very witty. When I saw the clip, when I looked at that scene, I thought, did I look like that? My goodness. I thought I looked so glamorous. And I must have been 50 there. I would be about 50. I mean, how could I look like that? I look about 35. They must have done some very good makeup on me for that. They really must have. And I do remember one or two other photographs at the time. But I got cancer just after that. So I was looking like from extraordinary from my point of view. I thought, well, but all the women looked glamorous in it, didn't they? They really looked great. And I thought a registrar would probably look more boosty than I did, sort of, in tweed jacket or something, but they didn't go for that, did they? They went for looking, in a nice brooch, nice, shirt, and a bit of a totty, really. No, not the sort of conventional registrar, but that was fine. And of course, I am Scots, and they wanted the slight Scots, the way Scots are treated as people. The Scottish accent suggests like Banks like it because you're meant to be a sort of genuine straight person, all of that sort of thing. The Scottish accent is meant to mean dependability and structure and everything. So I think that's why they asked me to use it. It's only very light. You probably wouldn't even notice it. But yes, I think the costume and makeup department did a great job, and the lighting. But yeah, because I was playing in inverted commas character parts as well at that time on stage. So I never played them on telly, only on stage. But yeah. So I was hoping when I did the bill, which I did several times, and the bill doctors, various of them, you came back as another character. You played one thing one time, and then they phoned you up again and said, would you come back and do this one? And I was hoping that might happen with London's Burning, and I'd get something juicier to play, but it never happened. And I think maybe it was already episode 4, where the bill went on for years and years, so they could keep on bringing you back after. I think there was a limit of 4 years before you came back, in case people remembered your character from last time. But they wouldn't do that now, would they? But Holby City Casualty, all of them, they would say, oh, come back in, we'll do it again. You're somebody else this time. But it didn't happen. So my memories were very, very good on it. It was there's a lovely feeling of togetherness in the cast, and a good feeling that everyone was having a good time. And that was really nice to be on set with. And that comes from the director. That's the kind of, you know, he creates that, and the writer creates that, and the team create that. So, yeah, it was interesting looking back at you know, a couple of the episodes. I realized how good they were. Yes, I do. And one of the you did 2 episodes a week, and one of them was I don't know how you found that out. I'd forgotten it. And one of them was live. You recorded one and you did the other one live. Half an hour. And nobody thought anything about it because we were all used to working on stage. So you rehearsed and then you did it. And if it went wrong, and now if anybody asks any actors to do it live, they throw an absolute fit, you know. So was that my first? I suppose it was. I did a lot in those days. I did Paul Temple and something called Apendescence, which was a BBC Play for Today, which was actually Aldous Huxley, and based on his book Apendescence. It was futuristic, and Petra Markham was on it. Me and Petra Markham running around in sackcloth with no, no, and no on the front of us. I don't know what it was, like cave girls, you know. And that was Alec McCowan playing the lead. Never. David Benedictus directed it, who wasn't really a director, he's more of a writer. And it never saw the light of day after its first viewings. It's not one of the ones that comes up. I think it was a Wednesday play as opposed to a Play for Today for BBC. That was an early one. But I went to the Royal Scottish Academy for Music and Drama in Glasgow when I was young. I went at 16, not a good age. I wasn't mature. And I then went straight into working in the theatre and came south quite quickly. We all did, because there was no work, really much work in Scotland, and we wanted to be in the bigger pool. And we'd all been taught how to speak proper English at college. RP. We all had to be taught RP. And we all had to, and we had a bone put between our mouth. It's called a bone prop to keep us to get our mouths open and say our round, everything was round. As opposed to the Scottish nasal, which was a bit like this, you know. And I was in Tom Conti's year. And Hannah Gordon, Bill Patterson, a little bit behind. And I came down and I worked in rep. Year after year, I worked at Harrogate and Sheffield, and started in Scotland at the Bar Theatre in St Andrews, and then finally settled in London. We all had a flat, you know, a room in London that we shared with somebody else. And gradually got into a bit of telly because I had an agent. But I always thought the main thing was theatre. And in a way, that was my downfall, because I didn't think a career in television was really important. And I was wrong, wasn't I? So there you go. But I've done series since. So. I've got a home studio downstairs for sound, and I do video games, would you believe it? I'm voices on various old hags and various things. I did one called Ceresa and the Lost Demon for Nintendo, the Nintendo people. And I was the narrator in that, as well as the Lost Demon. So it was quite a feat being both at the same time. And I actually filmed a Netflix series this year called The Undertow, which I'm in 4 episodes, very small, not much, but 4 episodes nevertheless. And Jamie Dornan plays the lead. It's 6 episodes, 7 episodes. And Jamie Dornan and Mackenzie Davis are the 2 leads in it. And it'll come out next year. So yes, things are going on. Yeah, I do some play readings, whatever, but that's me at the moment. Nice to meet you, Adam. Very nice, Andrew. Thank you so much.